So hello again everyone. I thought I'd do a sort of follow-up on the large format bluebells shoot that I did last week. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link up. But I thought I'd sort of revisit it and show you the negatives that I ended up with. I took some 5x4 film, colour and black and white, and I processed both of them myself. It wasn't totally successful, but I thought I'd show you what I did and where I went wrong, because I think there's actually more that went wrong than actually went right. First of all, I took two shots on this particular vlog, and one was more of a close-up where I wanted to get the structure of the bluebells. And so I have the black and white image here and the colour image here. I was waiting for the light to hit it just at the right time so that I've got a little bit of darker background. I would have liked to have had a lot more detail in the foreground here. This was moss and had some nice texture to it, and I was hoping I might be able to pick that up, but my camera movements, because you can change the movements of the camera by tilting the lens forward and doing other movements on the 5x4 camera, and I didn't really have the movements right there, so I could have done a much better job on that. But it's nice and sharp on the especially on these middle two here, so we've got a focal point. And same again here, the colour shot. I mean, it's not the best light, but I do like how the colours come out. They were both scanned, or all my 5x4 film was scanned on my Epson V850 scanner, flatbed scanner. And you don't have to do too much to the colour once it's been scanned. Basically scan it sort of fairly flat, don't add too much contrast or don't do anything sort of major in the scanning, keep it fairly flat, and then when it's in Photoshop you can then just play around with the red, green, blue channels, just bring up the highlights and the shadows just until you can see it clipping. And then you stop there and just bring all three of those in, and you get quite a nice colour balance. I'm really pleased. I mean, it just looks like film, so I'm pleased how the colour shot come out in the end, and the colour that I've got going through there. My next one, this is my absolute nightmare sheet. I'm not proud of this at all. First of all, obviously you can tell that these negatives are really thin, and that was my problem with the processing side of it. I made a mistake. I've got a couple of different black and white developers, and when I made it up, I've made up the wrong batch. I've made it under strength, and I've developed it for not enough time, because I mixed up the charts, so it's underdeveloped, so it looks thin. This second shot here, actually when you get the loop on it, it's quite nice. It's got some lovely detail with the ferns and the bluebells down here, and then all the way back there's lots of detail in these trees, so it's a shame that it's come out thin. I have been able to scan it. It scanned okay, but it would have been a lot better if it had been properly developed. The bluebell shot here, obviously it's thin, but also unfortunately I had a bit of a light leak going in, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it was probably a problem with the film holder or the dark slide, and anyway it's let a bit of light in. So that's just a bit of a disaster all round. This one is probably the worst of all, and I hang my head in shame, because this was totally avoidable, but I just feel like I had too much going on. I've learnt a lot from this shot in particular, because obviously I was trying to vlog at the time. I was trying to film myself while I was taking this shot, and trying to get different camera angles on me actually going through the process of you know, cocking the shutter and pulling out the dark slide. I've ended up double exposing, so basically I've got both these shots in here, and I've double exposed it, and that's just that's not acceptable. So I will not be doing that again in future. I've learnt now, get your shot, so get it out of the way, and then film yourself afterwards and pretend you are going through the stages of actually taking the shot, especially when you've got film involved, and it is expensive. You know, each sheet of film is probably, you know, £5 to £6 just for the sheet of film. So, you know, I can't take multiple shots of this like you would on digital. I was just taking one shot. I have taken a couple of the other Bluebell shots. The black and white's not quite as expensive, but the colour negative film is pretty expensive, so you have to be sort of fairly frugal with it. So I won't be doing that again, and just to sort of slightly make up for it, I'm a bit happy with how this turned out. This wasn't vlogged, but this was the evening before, and this was a different woods, and this was evening light, and the bluebells look really good, and we've got a lovely bit of light on this tree here, on this beech tree, and I mean, I don't have a spot meter, so I was only using a handheld meter. I was trying to meter for these darkest parts, which is sort of down this edge of this tree here, and I think we just about got enough detail in there. I probably could have done with being slightly more on exposure. You can go quite, you know, you can expose for these shadow parts of colour neg, and the highlights will pretty much look after themselves. As you know, there's a good bit of range there. So yeah, this is a nice shot, and it scanned in well, so I was quite pleased with that. So all in all, I've learned quite a bit from doing this. I will carry on and do some more with my 5x4, and you know, obviously I shoot digital as well. I shoot both. But yeah, lessons learned. I won't be doing some of those really stupid mistakes again, I hope. So yeah, anyway, if you liked it today, then give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already to my channel, please consider doing so. If you've got any comments about anything I've done, or if you looked at this and thought, oh no, he should be doing this, then you know, send me a comment, because I really appreciate that. And anyway, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.